What's going on, everybody? It's been a minute since I jumped on here. I thought I'd get on here and talk a little Alabama football. Um, that last game, that championship game against Clemson, left a bad taste in everybody's mouth. It's been over a decade since I've seen a Alabama team get throttled like they did against Clemson. 44-16. You just don't see an Alabama, especially a Nick Saban-led team, get beat down like that. I think they were just outcoached, outplayed. Bottom line, Clemson just whipped our ass. Secondary couldn't do anything against Trevor Lawrence, T. Higgins, Justin Ross. Those three together are formidable, to say the least. To say the least. Anyway, they burned us all night. There was nothing we could do to stop them. I don't think any adjustments actually were made. I don't know if any adjustments could have been made. Trevor Lawrence is one of those special quarterbacks. I don't know if he's a once-in-a-lifetime, like they said Andrew Luck coming out of Stanford, but he'll be the number one pick. No two ways about it when he comes out, whether it's in 2 years or whether it's in 3 years. I don't know why I would wait for the senior year, but you never know. Anyway, I digress. Let's get back to some Alabama football. Fast forward 3 months, 4 months. We're still in the offseason. Watched some of the spring game. Actually, I watched most of the spring game. It was on ESPN. It is what it is. Mac Jones looked good in the spring game. The defense looked good. And some people were saying, well, Tua, he didn't look very good in the spring game. Well, it's the spring game. Like I said, it is what it is. Come, into August, 1st September, these boys will be ready to roll. Guarantee you. But let's go over a little bit, of what's ahead for us. We all know that Tua's the man. Tua's going to be running the show. The question is, can Tua stay healthy? That's going to depend on the offensive line. Offensive line, got Matt Womack coming back, Alex Leatherwood, Jedrick Wills. There may be some others that I'm missing, but this offensive line has to gel. I've seen some other videos and podcasts that hit it on the head. It doesn't seem like the offensive line ever really gelled last year, and that wreaked havoc when we played better competition like Georgia, and again that championship game against Clemson, and even to some certain extent against Oklahoma, but that was more of a shootout. But can Tua stay healthy? Can he stay on the field the whole time? For Alabama to have any sustainable success late in the season, let's be honest. I think our schedule is pretty much a cakewalk for the most part, except maybe A&M and a couple of other games. But towards the end of the season, we're going to need Tua to be playing at his best. We need him healthy. We don't need him limping around out there. We don't need him coming out of the game early. We don't need him going into the medical tent, 2 or 3 times a game. We need his ass to stay on the field. And for that to happen, this offensive line has to gel. Period. End of story. Because, do I think Mac Jones is a good backup quarterback? Yeah. He showed flashes in the spring game. I wasn't sold on him at all, literally, until the spring game. But it looks like he's progressed as a passer. Looks like he's more, I don't know exactly what the word is, but he looks a little bit more at ease in the pocket now than he has in the limited time that he has played. And I'm not going to say he's got a lot of playing time, but who's going to get a lot of playing time behind Tua and Jalen Hurts till he transferred? But he looked more poised in the pocket in that spring game. But that does not mean that I want him in the game. I want to see Tua in the game, finishing out every single game, unless it's a blowout, and get Mac in there, or Talia, or Paul Tyson, or whoever you're going to bring in there to get some mop-up duty. But when it counts, Tua needs to be in the game. And that's going to require the offensive line to gel. They're going to have to play up to their capabilities. That's why you play at Alabama. You're the best of the best, just like I said in Top Gun. You're the best of the best, so prove it on the field. We all know also that this wide receiver core is the best in the country. I don't care who you are. I will say that Justin Ross and T. Higgins are right there as well. But as a group, when you're talking Devontae Smith, you're talking Jerry Jeudy, you're talking Henry Ruggs, you're talking Jalen Waddle, there's no comparison. Anybody in the country, I don't care who you are. You just don't get those kind of weapons once in a lifetime, especially at the collegiate level. I mean, that's just an embarrassment of riches right there. Those guys did great last year. I mean, they're just going to get better this year. Jerry Jeudy coming off he's a Biletnikoff winner. Devontae Smith, he's already had his moment in the sun. Caught 2 years ago, he caught the winning touchdown in the championship game. So, I mean, these guys are speedy. I really do think that I have a feeling that Jalen Waddle is going to really, really break out this year. I know he's competing against these other three guys, but that guy, watching his tape in high school, is just incredibly shifty, speedy. And I know I'm not taking away from any of the other guys. I know Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs are both the same way. I mean, they're shifty. You saw what Jerry Jeudy did against the game. But Jalen Waddle really, really is a magnificent athlete, and I think he's going to really break out this year. So watch out for him even more this year. Tight end, Miller Forstall. And I guess they switched Cameron Latu over to a tight end, so we'll see how that plays out. That even great. I mean, they must have seen something in him. Nick Saban saw something in him. The offensive coaches saw something in Cameron Latu to move him over to tight end from the defense. So we'll see how that plays out. Maybe he'll have an impact on this offense also. Even more weapon. The more weapons you have, even the better one too, is slinging the ball like that. So offensively, it's all up to the offensive line. They need to gel. They need to give Tua some time and give these receivers time to get out there and do what they do. Make big plays. Because all four of those guys I mentioned in the wide receiver core are more than capable of going the distance every time they touch the ball. And they've proven that, all four of them. So, and even in the spring game, John Mechie, I'm not really sure. I mean, there's even another weapon, Tyrell Shavers. I mean, they got an embarrassment of riches. All these guys are just chomping at the bit even to get on the field that are capable athletes. So Alabama's going to be fine on offense. Offensive line, you got to gel. Defensively, lost Quentin Williams. That's a big deal. Number 3 pick overall in the draft this year. But I think you're still going to be fine. Defensive line, LeBron Ray, Vidarian Mathis, and Raekwon Davis. That's the big one. Raekwon needs to break out this year and do what he does. All three of those guys are more than capable of getting to the quarterback and, I mean, just disrupting the flow of the game for their other team. So that'll be fine there. Linebacker, Dylan Moses is going to be calling the shots, I'm sure, on defense. Terrell Lewis, that guy has had an up-and-down career. And I only say down because of the injuries. That guy is incredible when he stays healthy. He's going to be a key to this defense if he can stay healthy. And I really am hoping and praying that this guy can stay on the field because he's an amazing athlete. He's just had some bad luck, really bad luck. But hopefully Terrell Lewis can get on the field and stay there. Anthony Jennings, he's had plenty of playing time. He'll be good there at linebacker. And honestly, I think if they play up to, they'll have one of the best linebacking cores in the country if those guys play up to their potential. I really do. Dylan Moses, it's your time. Dylan Moses, it's your time to step up, be the play caller, be the man. Secondary, that was the question mark going into last year. Secondary really, really, really played well first half of the season, I would say. Even 3/4 of the season. But then when we got into stiffer competition, just like pretty much the rest of this Alabama team, I'm not saying they folded, but this secondary, when they went up against teams like Oklahoma and Clemson and Kyler Murray and Trevor Lawrence, they couldn't stop them. They just couldn't stop them at all. And against Georgia. Even, I mean, I don't know what really happened last year. Maybe we needed some more experience. But I will say this year, this secondary has a lot of potential. I think they're hungry. A lot of people went to the NFL. Some guys that probably shouldn't have gone to the NFL. But this secondary, Patrick Surtain, Trayvon Diggs is a senior this year. He came back. He could have gone to the NFL. Josh Jobe, Shaheem Carter, Xavier McKinney. All those guys are poised to have a huge, huge impact on this secondary this year. And honestly, I think they could have the best secondary in the country. Every position group could have the best, and this Alabama team could be the best in the country. Maybe save the offensive line. That is yet to be seen. But overall, I think this team is in great shape to get to another championship game. Excuse me. Honestly, I don't see anybody in the SEC stopping us. I just don't. Georgia, I know, blah, blah, blah. But guess what? Georgia may or may not have had us beat the last 2 years, and you didn't get the job done. Alabama found a way to beat you. Whether it was in the championship game or in the SEC championship game, we beat you both times. And I think it's in Kirby Smart's head. Nick Saban's in Kirby Smart's head. And you know what? Alabama's better than Georgia, period, anyway. It doesn't matter. So, I think it's going to be Clemson at the end again. You never know who's going to come up. You never know. A team might sneak up. The usual suspects are still out there. Your Oklahoma with Jalen. Ohio State, who knows? Who knows who's going to sneak up there? But your usual suspects will probably be there. But I still think it's going to be Clemson and Alabama are right there neck and neck. And that's who I think it'll be at the end again. Whether they play in the semifinal of the playoff or in the championship game, that's who I think it's going to be. And I think we're going to get number 18 finally this year. We'll see how this offensive line gels. We'll see how Tua does this year. I really think he's poised to have a Heisman year. I think it's just going to be a really great year. That's my 2 cents. Leave your comments below. Appreciate you watching. It's been a 12.5-minute video almost. Maybe a little longer than it should have been. But roll tide, everybody in Alabama Nation, and I'll holler at y'all in a few weeks.